Hi Ritika, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
Yes, perfect. And congratulations for the ISB admit.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure you've been waiting to join, just the unfortunate setback at this point, but hopefully it will start
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. Let's hope.
Right. So let us begin by understanding your profile. You're a NIFT graduate, which
Hmm.
means that you're a truly diverse profile, which a business school considers diversity. And
Right.
you work with an interesting range of organizations. So please tell us
Mhm.
more about your professional profile overall.
So I started like my latest job was at the Man Company as a content strategist, and I worked there very briefly because I got the news about ISB, so I put my papers down. And before that, for about a year and a half, I was working with a marketing and advertising agency called Future Smith. So that was a very interesting time because it was very different from corporate and being on the client end of things. Um, and prior to that, I've switched quite a few jobs. Prior to that, I was working with Times Internet for social media. And before that, which I was working at Puma, which was my first job, there I was a content writer. So majorly I've been involved with content, but with the agency job, it was more to do with brand building, brand strategy, and advertising.
Right. So overall, of course, discounting the last 2 or 3 months, you
Right,
had three years of experience with three different organizations.
right.
So how
Three,
did you
yeah, three.
approach your application and essays, given that you were competing with candidates, most of whom had or typically have higher experience, about 4 or 5 years?
So I think one thing was a putting down a very honest profile of yourself, and I mean I knew that people had a lot of experience and generally expertise of sorts. Then since quite a few people stick around to their jobs, but
Right,
what could be seen as a drawback, which was changing different um, jobs very quickly was something that I played to my advantage instead, which is the fact that I have an exposure to a range of industries and a range of organizations because all of them were very different from each other in terms of organizational setup, in terms of one being an MNC, one was a national media house, Puma was in retail, then this was an agency. So I think what the how I made my directive was that it's spread across a range of things.
right, right. So what I hear is, of course, one, the fact that you had different experience, but then you were able to use your experience across different organizations to demonstrate the diversity that you were exposed to and the learning that you had from these different experiences
Right,
versus someone working for 3 years
right.
in one organization and doing something repetitive.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting. And that probably helped a lot in establishing how you're different from the larger pool of applicants, despite your low experience.
Probably, yeah, yeah.
Right. But what's interesting is even with the strong experience and the diversity that you come with, you couldn't make it in your first
Hmm.
attempt. So did you get an interview invite in the first place, or what do you think might have gone wrong the first time? And how did you approach your application as a reapplicant?
Well, luckily this time before I gave my application, this time I had the chance to attend one of those um, talks that ISP had
The info sessions.
organized.
Yeah.
Info sessions. And there I discussed something with someone from the AdCom, and I told them about my profile and what kind of essays I had written and everything. And they gave me the feedback that one of the main reasons that I wasn't selected was because I didn't seem convinced as to how an MBA would help me.
Okay.
Like I myself wasn't very clear about my goals or what I was looking forward from an ISB MBA. And that's something I try to change this time. Last time the one of the main clients that I was working for at that time was a social enterprise, and I really liked working with them. So my entire future goals and everything that I'd written in the essays were centered around um, a slightly more social angle of future career, which was just like one option for me and not something very definite, not something I had done a lot of research about. There were probably other paths that I could take, which would be better for that particular goal than an MBA. So,
Okay.
like what I thought were my goals at that point didn't really align with why an MBA would be beneficial for me. And also, I think I really couldn't bring out my strengths during the interview, which is something that did not happen this time, rather something that ISB Mantra helped me out with. So, yeah.
Right. Right. So what I see is you did more research, understood what a business
Yeah,
school could look for, understood what you should ideally look for post your MBA, because of course you would want to stick to your core, or you'd want to use your strengths to build your career going ahead, and that is something that you try to present
right.
through your application, and
Yeah,
and obviously prepare better for your interview.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So how was your interview experience? What do you think the interviewers were trying to
Pretty
assess?
interesting. I think I remember. I don't remember the name, but the lady who took my interview, there were two of them as opposed to three. I think there was like a little mismanagement this time. Something happened. And I very clearly remember the lady, she sounded genuinely concerned about my career choices. Like she was perplexed. Like, why is a NIFT graduate doing, how does a NIFT graduate end up in Times? Whom I can still understand because fashion and, NIFT goes with your profile, but how come social media in a media house? And they asked me a lot of questions. To be honest, I didn't really think I would get through, but it wasn't like the questions felt very genuine and very like they actually wanted to get to know you and what's your thought process behind your decisions and your career trajectory and all of that.
Right, right. So of course, given that you had a slightly different career, they really wanted to know if the career choices were conscious enough, if you had learned enough from them, and
Right.
go deeper into what you had done.
Yeah, I think it was like a fine balance between honesty because you can't be outright completely blatant also, but like a good balance between majority of your story being very honest and also being thought out of. As in, they want to know that you have put in considerable thought and effort into doing a little bit of your research when you talk about your career goals. When you say, okay, this is my 5 year plan and this is what I hope to do after ISB. These are my strengths. These are the things that I want to improve upon. So
Right.
yeah, like they want to know that you've thought things through.
And probably these were things you had not thought through in your last interview or through your last application.
Not really, not particularly. I think last time it was just jump into the deep end of the pool without any preparation,
Right.
and this time it was a little more got my gear. So,
Okay. Right. Of course. I mean, that highlights the importance of preparation and research. And
yeah,
there was some preparation you did with ISB Mantra also. So how was your experience with ISB Mantra? How did you see your thoughts and
quite
ideas evolve?
quite good because, like I said, these are like you just said, these are questions that I didn't really think about the last time. So I remember you'd given me like a very detailed questionnaire and a list of question and answers that okay, these are the most frequently asked ones and all. But more than that, what I liked was, especially since I have a very diverse profile from what the kind of responses and everything you find online, was you gave me very pinpointed feedback specific to my profile. That okay, this is what Ritika has done, and these are the questions that can be asked specifically to her, and how to answer those. And if I was giving a particular answer, was there anything that could be picked up from it, or if there was anything that could be highlighted better, which would throw a little more positive light on my narrative. And yeah, so it was the feedback specific to me and how to enhance my profile the best, and still like an overall honest portrayal of myself that I would do in front of the interviewers, compared to my previous year where I wasn't very sure of my goals.
Right. So some amount of introspection and understanding what could be
Yeah,
asked based on
yeah.
your or what you have communicated. But of course, I'm sure there is a lot of hard work that you put in behind the scenes, which made you perform there.
Thank you.
And of course, you have an admit, so that worked out well. Rather, you had
Yes.
an early admit you applied in round one. So
Yeah.
So how have you spent your time since then? How have you engaged with the school? I'm sure there are WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. So how have you engaged with other admits? What has been your
Yeah.
learning?
Oh
If you
my
have
God,
alumni that
those
you
are
have
so
connected
overwhelming. Telegram groups more than WhatsApp group.
with. Okay.
I was, in fact, already in touch with quite a few alumni, which is something that also helped me with my entire application process and interview process. Like, even if they don't give you a lot of essay specific things, they do give you an overview of ISB and life there, and things post there. So when you formulate your answers and essays, you are able to, have that thing in consideration. Just makes for a better application. But other than so alums, I didn't really connect with after my admission, but I did connect with a lot of peers. There are some groups with one or two alums and all. All in all, it's very overwhelming because there are so many groups, and there are so people are discussing marketing case studies left, right, center. There's an art enthusiasts group. There's a group for just about everything, and
Right.
it's a very encouraging group, like the kind of people. I think as a person, I'm looking forward to becoming more confident about myself and honing my talents more than the actual parhai part of college.
Right. So it's kind of a teaser of what's going to come, the variety and the intense time
Yeah,
that you're going to spend there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what are you
They're
looking
very
forward to the most?
the campus life. I've heard so much about it, and now we're just being kept away from it. But like I said, I'm looking forward to meeting these people, and they call it the year of transformation, which I think would be a very apt name based on the little interaction that I've had till now. So yeah, like, and ISB's processes and everything also seem very encompassing and whole. Say, for example, we were given like a personality assessment thing, which we had to do a self-assessment for, and then get it done from peers and juniors and seniors. So they will be kind of analyzing us and helping us uh, be our best version or whatever. But yeah, seems pretty interesting.
Awesome. And of course, 2020 being a year that people have been preparing for for so long. So this
Yeah,
is certainly unanticipated, but hopefully these challenges will make you learn more.
yeah. Let's hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what would be your advice to future applicants, especially those coming from a diverse background?
Well, I think, take a lot of time to introspect before you start anything in the process. and be very clear about, and if you're not clear, talk to people and then get a lot of ideas. Before you decide upon your future goals and everything, actually know what goes into that role on an everyday basis and whether you are willing to, do that for a continued period of time. Because a lot of times we just decide, oh, that sounds cool, I want to be that, but we don't really know what goes into it. So yeah, be very clear about your roles. Talk to a lot of people. Gather as much intel as you can. And also, one thing that I felt personally was earlier I was under the impression that you need a really out of the world, very different profile to get in. If you have that, great. But even if you don't, it's just they want to see that you're a smart individual with potential who can get things done or do things. So kind of be honest with yourself.
Right. I think that's very useful insight, especially the
Hello.
fact that one should
Hello.
research and introspect about their career plans, because a lot of
Yeah.
candidates, they think it's, oh, I just have to answer two essays, it's a 15-day affair, but then there's a lot of research and preparation that goes
Right.
behind it.
Yeah.
Great. That's certainly helpful, and I'm sure participants or applicants looking to apply will benefit a lot from this advice. But
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for
I'm
being
glad.
candid with your experience and sharing your insights. Hope you have a great time at ISB, and wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for helping me get in.
Completely our pleasure, and glad it worked. Look forward to being in touch.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Okay, see you then. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.